At 728, staying at page 403, it says parties shall operate in each other's operating area or jurisdiction only during planned operations and for duration of the operation. In all operations, an operational plan must be submitted prior to the operation within a reasonable time to the Office Sub-Provincial Commissioner for approval.
Yes, yes.
At 729, 7.2.9, it says the executive authority requesting an operation to its area together with SAPS will take the lead to the operation. Now, these clauses speak to the question of jurisdiction and operating in the various jurisdictions by the various municipal police departments. Do you understand that as well?
Very clear.
Yeah. Now, this document prescribes how that cooperation must happen, and it prescribes that any of the police municipal departments will operate in a jurisdiction other than theirs only during planned operations. That's 7.2.8 DC.
Yes.
And that goes to the question that Commissioner Khumalo asked you.
Yes.
Whether operating outside your jurisdiction, is it strictly during planned operations or even without planned operations? And I think your response was, it doesn't require planned operations.
No, I've said during and sometimes it's unplanned operations. Members go. In fact, I'm agreeing with you that this document talk about the operations, spontaneous operations, the operations where members got information now and go and execute. Sometimes it leads them to outside where the suspect, they apprehend the suspect and everything.
And he gave an example, I think, about whether you can go search for and arrest a suspect in Soweto without JMPD, and you confirmed that you have the authority to do so.
Yes, I've said we even went, we are going outside the province.
Yes, and you said you go internationally as well.
No, international, I was talking about the exhuming of the previous, yes. It is a different memorandum of understanding than this one.
Okay. Now this would be inconsistent with that answer, but I accept that this was signed in 2025.
Yes.
Because this 2025 version says you may only do so within a planned operation.
No, it is a
the document, I'm not talking about reality on the ground, I'm talking about what the document is telling us.
I agree with you on this one.
So are you suggesting that prior to the signature of this document, something else permitted you to do it otherwise than as prescribed by this document?
Prior and after, operations are going on, as I'm saying. I don't want to come in and want to impress the commission that we are complying. The next thing, when you get the states said we went in there and arrested the suspect that was running away from our jurisdiction, said we were able to apprehend.
You ran ahead of me, I hadn't posed my question yet.
Humble apologies, I apologize.
So if now we know based on this document that it can only be a planned operation and it specifies strictly, clause 7.2, the process that must be followed, and that it requires a request for an operation in its area, as we have read. So this document would suggest that no other form of operation outside a planned operation is permissible. Is that your understanding as well?
But operational is a different story. I agree with you. I was part of this. I was part of formation of this document. I participated in this document.
Okay.
But due to, as I've said, that our jurisdictions, our demarcations, you see, you may find yourself in this era thinking that you are in this era. The other operation makes you to be outside of jurisdiction whilst you plan to be in this. You see, it's happening on a daily basis. I don't want to lie. I don't want to impress this commission.
So then I must understand it is still happening today, notwithstanding what this MOU prescribes, that it can only be for planned operations. Nonetheless, EMPD still operates outside its jurisdiction.
Chairperson, it's happening, I can't lie.
Okay.
Yes, it's not only in in EMPD. You see, it's happening. As I've said, that you drive around, you see members stopping, executing. Sometimes find that they were driving towards their place where they stay, or they're going to the place of work, and then offense it's happening.
Okay.
There you can't stop and say, I'm waiting for the command and operational plan, where they are able to need assistance. For example, sometimes the chief of transport will call you, hey, I've got my members there, they need your assistance, because they can't execute, they can't do that. There, we intervene. But there are those planned ones, you see.
It might be helpful.
For example, for illicit, sorry.
I was saying it might be helpful to look at page 415, where section 64 prescribed the powers, and that whoever prepared that, it specifically says that the powers in 64F may only be executed within the borders.
You are too fast, Commissioner.
Am I too fast? Page 415. I think if we are looking for the boundaries of the powers.
I got it.
Yes, it says that the powers in 64F of the SEPS Act may only be exercised within the borders of Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Council unless, and this is that important part, unless an appropriate agreement has been signed with a neighboring municipality. So that tells us very clearly that in the absence of an agreement, you don't have the legal authority to operate outside the Ekurhuleni Metro. You see where I'm reading?
Yes, I think it's what we need to correct. I agree, we need to stick and correct that. And those that, because I'm still on suspension, those that are viewing, we need to engage on that and make sure that we stick on that. We need to agree that there's that limits, and it needs to happen.
Just so I don't get lost, what are you suggesting needs to be corrected?
No, I'm saying we need to stick on that. The way Commissioner Baloyi, she's reading it.
Yes.
You see, we need to make sure that we stick on this. You see.
It's not the way
She's
Commissioner
reading it.
Baloyi is reading it. It's how it's written. It's how it's written
Yes.
here.
And just so you
the
find your
correct-
bearings, that's a 2001 agreement.
May I read it, Commissioner? I think you were too fast, and I read the list.
You may read it.
Please. Section 64F of the South African Police Service Act 1995 prescribes the powers of metropolitan police officers and state that these powers may only be executed within the borders of Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Council unless an appropriate agreement has been signed with a neighboring municipality. To such an agreement have been signed with neighboring municipalities who either already have municipal police service or who are on the verge of establishing such municipal police services. Other agreement with neighboring municipalities will be signed once Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Municipal Services have been established. Okay. The reason, therefore, is that the other municipalities are not. Let me limit myself to this. I get you. Thank you, Chair.
Yes. As I understand it, you say what is supposed to be corrected is that you must stop operating outside your municipal boundaries because Section 64F doesn't allow you to operate outside.
Yes, Chair, no, I get you now. Thank you. Thank you for correcting.
Just clarify something for me. Assuming your understanding is correct, if EMPD officers were to go to KZN, as you say, or to Soweto to arrest a suspect and confiscate stolen goods, when you come back to EMPD offices, where do you record that event?
The members are having pocketbooks. Members are having, the units are having OP, but we had a challenge for the past 10 years. They use their own diaries, their own books, they record. But monthly, there's a stats that we're getting in terms of the feedback.
So you say it will only appear in the member's individual diary?
Yes,
So
pocket
if a
books.
member went to Soweto to arrest a suspect, or let's not use an arrest because somebody has to be detained if they are arrested. So if they went to Soweto and they confiscated stolen goods, the only place they would record that and the fact that they've confiscated goods is in the member's own individual diary.
From our side, we can check through that.
Where do they book the goods that they have confiscated?
I would say it depends per operation. Sometimes you book or sometimes you, I can't tell. But they are supposed to go to the police station or book it where it's necessary. For example, if you find the explosive, you can't take them to the police station. You call a relevant team to do that. If you find, for example, animals, it's the issue of SPCA. It differs per operation, per your, let me say per operations because
I
it's
think
broad.
you assisted me halfway through your answer because if I understand you correctly, if they confiscate stolen goods in Soweto, they must take them to the police station.
Yes.
And
yes,
that
yes,
must
yes.
be recorded
Yes,
there.
yes, yes, yes.
That's all I needed to
Then
clarify.
through our own books, then we'll get it maybe weekly or monthly, that there was this operation that was done. Because you can't be there every day and
Thank
If there's no notebook, because the police officer has lost their notebook, we will never know about that operation.
I must say that, Chair, because that's one of the challenges that was having us. For the past 10 years, we didn't have pocket books, OP books. You see, administration was not there. You see, you only depend when they reported. You see, that's why sometimes you'll get a complaint after a year or 6 months or 7 months. You actually, what happened? You see, why didn't you do this? Why? No, we didn't have this and that. You see, that's a challenge. But at least now, when I acted, we were able to have an agreement with government printers of pocket books of OP because we depended, to be honest, we depended on SAPS. If such police station doesn't have, we were always begging, asking for OP books. You can't ask for SAPS pocket book because it's writing SAPS. But for OP book, members will go, or you need commanders. In fact, we were putting them into pressure. That's not supposed to be like that. They will go to a certain police station. If you've got an extra OP, please, may you please borrow us or may you please give us that OP book. Administrative, I'm told now that, just that I'm suspended, but they've started to deliver. The government printers, they've started to deliver OP books, pocket book. I think it has improved now. Because by law, each and every member must issue a pocket book. The unit or the precinct must have an OP where you record. Book members on duty, you book members. So you can't book them on your own diary or pocket book because you may lose it at any time. And that OP must be at the office so that if the other shift is coming in, the precinct commander or that, sometimes you don't have, in other stations, we are having challenges of commanders. But that member that has been identified to be an acting inspector must book all those that are on duty and they must sign that we are here, everything. So that's a challenge that we had as the
Commissioner,
EMPD.
because you have a habit of speaking for a long time, let's not focus on other members, let's focus on you. So your OB book or the OB book that applied to you and your
On the OP book or diary.
So if you were to go to Mfuleni or Midval or Soweto, where would you, not other members, you, Julius Mkhwanazi, if you were going to an operation outside of Ekurhuleni, where would you record that?
By law, I'm supposed to report it on the police radio and say, we are moving out of jurisdiction. But again, it's a challenge because you don't have communication radios too.
I don't want you to give long answers.
Oh,
Where do you record? Is there a piece of paper where you, Julius Mkhwanazi, records that I was in Soweto on this date, it was an operation, and we confiscated stolen goods?
No, I don't have, but I depend on members when they say in their book, they said the chief or the deputy chief or the director arrived at this time, visited us, they record on that.
All right, thank you.
And when they submit their monthly or what, they will also say that we are visited by this person.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And then lastly, on this 2025 agreement at page 403, clause 727, it reads, request for assistance shall be in writing. In case of emergency, request may be made orally. However, shall be confirmed by writing within 3 days. You see where I'm reading?
Page 425, paragraph.
403, page
Oh,
403, sorry. Clause 7.2.7.
Yes, clause.
7.2.7
Yes.
says request for assistance shall be in writing. In case of emergency, request may be made orally. However, shall be confirmed by writing within 3 days. You see that?
Yes.
And so all requests from one or other to operate outside their jurisdiction, that's my understanding, is that the request must be in writing. It allows for emergency assistance, but prescribes that such requests may then, in those circumstances, be made orally, but must be confirmed within 3 days in writing. Is that, do you understanding as well?
Yes, we are having such requests.
Yes.
Yes.
But is that how you understand 7.2.7? So basically, the request must be in writing, that requirement.
I think I've answered that, Commissioner, earlier on.
No, we haven't dealt with this particular point of the request having to be in writing.
Yes, it says so. Yes,
Okay,
it
now,
says so.
I just wanted to test your understanding because then follows my question. Are you saying that what is in 7.2.7 altered the position as was legally permissible prior to the signature of this document? Was it changing anything? 7.2.7.
No, it wasn't changing anything.
Okay.
In fact, it was adding on some of the operation that we're having. They're done in writing, in time.
All right.
Sometimes you sit and plan as a joint operation with other law enforcement stakeholders.
So it wasn't changing, you say. So therefore, even prior to the signature of this particular MOU, it has always been the requirement that assistance be made in writing. And that's what you practiced within EMPD. Am I correct?
You are correct, but you must also read it with what Commissioner Baloyi was saying in page 415.
Yes,
which
well,
covers that in some of the operations, members may act, some may give reports, or sometimes it may not be a planned operation, you see. But there are operations, I agree with you, there are planned operations where there's an operational plan, where all law enforcement stakeholders, they sit, execute together in all different, in 2 or 3 or 4 different municipalities with other law enforcement agencies.
For the record, page 415, which Commissioner Baloyi referred you to, doesn't say you may or may not file reports. I think page 415, as I understand it, in fact makes the point that you may not operate outside your jurisdiction unless you have a written agreement with the authority in that next jurisdiction. That's what it tells you. Absent such an agreement, you don't have legal authority.
That was my understanding, but it was corrected.
Okay.
Commissioner Mkhwanazi, I thought we were agreed that 415, what I read in page 415, sets the boundaries of what you are allowed to do. It says that the powers in 64F may only be executed within the Ekurhuleni Metro Council unless an appropriate agreement has been signed with a neighboring municipality. And what that means, which I've just read, is that absent an agreement with another municipality, you may not operate in the jurisdiction of another municipality. You understand that? You agree with that?
Yes, Chair, you confused me.
Did I or the Chair confuse
No, the Chair confused me.
How now?
Because
you said the way Commissioner Baloyi read it And then you said whatever it was you said. And I said to you, this is not about how Commissioner Baloyi read it. It is about how it actually reads. That's all I said. What's confusing with it?
Yes, Chair, that's what I was saying. I've said that means it has been our limitation.
That means?
It has been our limitation. We need to correct it and make sure that we stick to what Commissioner
But
Baloyi
that had
said.
nothing to do with what I said. Because as I say, all I said was to correct you when you said, as Commissioner Baloyi reads it. So I just said, it's not about how Commissioner Baloyi reads it.
I get
it's
it,
about the actual content.
Yes, I
And
get it, Chair.
it's about how it actually reads. Am I making sense?
Yes, Chair.
All right. And also another issue I may raise with you, I'm not sure that I understand your cross-referencing to what Commissioner Baloyi read when Ms. Sillo is engaging you on 727. 727 is about requests for assistance, whereas what Commissioner Baloyi read is about where each metro or municipality may exercise its functions, which is that they may only do so within their jurisdiction. That's not about assistance as envisaged in 7.2.7. Do you get the difference?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, Ms.
Thank you,
Sillo.
Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. And if you get the difference, you will leave it at that. The answer you've given stands, or would you like to revisit it?
No. We revisit. When it's a request, you see, it's very clear.
Yes,
Yes, yes.
it must be in writing.
Yes.
So now my question was, the clause I read for you comes from a 2025 agreement. Do you understand?
Yes, Chair.
I wanted to understand whether that requirement was, whether your understanding was that there was such a requirement even prior to 2025. Have you always understood that there must be a request in writing?
You are correct.
That's been your understanding?
Yes, you're correct.
And that is how you have conducted operations outside Ekurhuleni?
Yes, if there's a request.
Which
we are doing
request
that.
would be in writing?
Yes.
Okay. I think I'm clarified, thank you.
But that would not always be the case, because on your evidence, if you are chasing a person and they cross into the jurisdiction of another municipality, you can't just let them go. You will chase them and arrest them. I think that's how I understood your evidence.
You are correct, Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, I may talk maybe, for example, when it's crowd management, where they know it's a big joint operation in request. That's what has been happening.
Well, maybe let's use a simpler example. If you're chasing a speeding driver, a driver who was involved in criminal conduct in your municipality, and you chase them and they cross into the JMPD jurisdiction, what do? Do you pursue them into that jurisdiction, or do you stop where your line ends?
We do pursue, Chair.
Yes,
And it's not only limited to that.
yes.
Even when members are working operational, they get information now that we must go to that. They do that.
Yeah. So
Yes.
you do that even where there has not been a request for assistance. I think
Yes.
it's the point that I'm trying to
Yes,
establish.
yes,
Thank you.
Yes.
I think as well, I'm trying to find it, but I can't immediately. I'll find it for you. My understanding, at least, of the law is the regulations, the SAPS regulations, permit you, by you I mean the Metropolitan Police Department, to continue with a pursuit that originates in your jurisdiction, even if it goes beyond the borders. You are permitted to pursue that suspect until the suspect is arrested. Is my understanding correct? And that's stipulated in the regulation. I'll give you the specific regulation tomorrow morning. But generally, is that how you understand it?
Yes, Chair.
Yes.
Yes.
So
That's why
now-
I even said in terms of information, that's what it's happening again.
Now, that is what I can call hot pursuit. It starts in Germiston, drives out of Ekurhuleni jurisdiction. The law permits the pursuit to continue, even into the next jurisdiction with or without agreement. So it's a specific permission to continue with that pursuit until its objective is met.
Yeah.
I'm saying that to say I agree with you on that.
Yes, but there are also a lot of gray areas, Chair. For
Before we
example-
get to gray areas, can I get to my question?
Okay.
Thank you. So at least the one regarding pursuit, you and I are in agreement. Again, I go back to the question that Commissioner Khumalo, I think, posed. If you get information while you are in your office in Germiston that a suspect who you believe committed a crime in Ekurhuleni is in Soweto, or there is a suspect in Soweto who committed a crime, let's say in Sandton, do you have the authority to go seek and arrest that suspect without the prior engagement and approval by JMPD? And your response to that was yes.
No.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood.
Commissioner Khumalo said you may move from here to, not from Soweto to Sandton, not within the jurisdiction of Johannesburg, but from here you may do that to Soweto. If the information leads you to Soweto, Soweto leads you to Randburg, but started from here, the information was got from here, you see.
So you are
But
saying?
yes, but I'm saying when members are around there doing other operation and they find something there, they may execute and arrest. They can't say, we are Metro Police officers, we're here to execute other things, but there's a crime that is happening because we're in Soweto, it's happening in Soweto. We will run away and leave it. It doesn't happen like that. They must execute because members of public,
Okay.
they see police, they don't see EMPD, JMPD. You see?
Let's forget about hot pursuit. What I think Ms. Silo wants to understand, which is what I think Commissioner Khumalo wanted to understand, and which is what I want to understand. You are sitting.
Sorry, Chair.
You are sitting in your office in Ekurhuleni,
Yes.
and you get information about the commission of a crime and that the alleged culprit is in Soweto. Would you move from Ekurhuleni to Soweto to go and effect an arrest?
Members, they may communicate with members of JMPT or they go to that police station, say, or work with SAPS to assist them. It becomes easier, but it's happening, they go and arrest.
So Ekurhuleni police or EMPD members would not on their own, without being assisted by, after a request by members of the JMPD, simply go to Soweto.
As I've said earlier on, it's happening. You see, it's happening.
It may be happening, but it's something else whether it's lawful, and what we are trying to establish is what is lawful.
Yes.
Would EMPD members lawfully move from Ekurhuleni? And remember, this is not hot pursuit. Move from Ekurhuleni to Soweto and perform whatever functions they think they are entitled to perform.
I think for now, there's no law that has challenged us. As I've said that before I joined,
Is it lawful? I'm not asking whether you've been challenged. Is it lawful?
Yes, in the court of law, they've accepted those dockets, they've sentenced those suspects, you see. And in our minds, or in their minds, it's like that, no, it's lawful, it has been happening, and you see. And I must say, it's many cases where they execute. I submitted an evidence of some of those cases that it has been happening. Before I even become a commander, we've been doing that. And to my understanding, with this current memorandum of understanding, it has even allowed